Nice guys will always finish last, and it's not because they're not good enough. It's because they don't have the balls to show their true intentions. This is what separates nice guys from the bad boys who are willing to take the risk. The bad boy effect. I recently watched a video where some women said they wanted a bad guy, someone who gives a hoot about themselves and who doesn't put a woman's needs before their own. Respected by others, confident, can tell her when to shut up, and doesn't like being disrespected. Women tend to place these kinds of men in the bad boys category, but in reality, these are just the basic masculine traits every man should have. The reason why these men are considered bad is because of the feminized society that we live in. It has demonized masculinity and made it taboo to be a man who takes what he wants and doesn't apologize for it. These are the guys women will fall for. Nice guys, on the other hand, men who put women before themselves, willing to change and submit to a woman's demand, will always receive the short end of the stick. He doesn't always go for what he wants and will always be less attractive than a man who puts himself first. Why do women only think about bad boys? The answer is quite simple if you sit down and think about it. Women always want to be assured that they are going to be taken care of. Women and bosses don't want men without balls. They want men who will stand for what they believe and speak their minds when needed, not just mutter and whine when they're not being heard. Alphas lead, and women want the guys who can't do this and take control when it's needed. There are many reasons women like men who treat them like crap. These are a few reasons why they do this. 1. They know they can't have him. Even if the lady in question reaches a point where she's known as the girlfriend, she's still very careful with her man. Dating Chads comes with many surprises. They always keep the woman on the edge of their seats, unsure of what's going to happen next. These guys can break up with any lady over a simple issue, and no doubt there is something about the unknown, and it can be intoxicating. For a lady who finds herself craving a man's attention when it actually arrives, well, it's like a huge dose of an incredible drug. We always want what we can't have, after all. Number 2, he's very unpredictable. Many Chads can go several days without talking to their girl, and when they do, even when she's very mad at him for abandoning her, she will pick up the phone and forgive him immediately. Why? It's because hearing his voice wasn't the only thing she was looking for. He was quite unexpected and therefore interesting. His love for this lady remains a mystery because she can't even tell when or where he's going to pull that stunt again. He doesn't care if she needs him. Being needy and desperate is the kind of stuff that keeps many guys in the friend zone. There's something incredibly sexy about a guy who's got nothing to lose. The power structure for every relationship goes like this. A woman relies on her man's affection while he doesn't rely on hers. It'll make any woman want to hold on even tighter and be glad for what she has. Forgive me for being toxic, but Chads always feel like they're doing girls a favor by choosing to be with them. Number 4, he's very confident. The confidence level of every alpha male is mesmerizing. It's like some kind of natural perfume that radiates off of them and draws others in. And when there's a new guy who's fully independent, he'll get more attention from women. Chads are fully, perfectly assured in every aspect of themselves, and women cannot help but want to be around a man who is very sure of himself. 5. The chase for attention never ends. Don't be deceived. Women chase men too, and it's one thing they find very attractive in potential partners. At that point, women chase after them, pursue their interests, and are always unsure of whether he's going to feel the same way about them. It's what makes the build-up for the first kiss or first night together pretty intense. Other women want him. Women can see the way that other women look at the alphas, how they talk to each other, and the pull they have over them. Pre-selection comes into play here. It takes resources to know if a guy is high value, and guys with girls around them show that he's high value. Other girls made the work of selecting easy for her. When girls are attracted to you, they'll rather steal you away than grab you while you're standing around. So, it's so devious the way that some women think, and this has happened to me several times, and honestly, it is a bit ridiculous. Number 7, they think they can fix the bad guys. This is where many ladies get it wrong with bad guys. You can't change the attitude of a bad guy when it comes to love. One reason why many girls think about a bad guy is because they believe that they can change them. They believe that if he learns to reciprocate their affection, his walls will come down and his emotions will come out. Maybe it's just maternal instinct, but maybe they just want to fix the bad guy, and thus the attraction. Why do women ignore nice guys? It's quite sad to see guys who actually look like husband material ignored, turned down, overlooked, unwanted. Women would still rather go for chads who will never let her get close enough to truly know who he really is. Most women will prefer to keep nice guys as friends. It's not her fault though, it's because she behaves like such a good friend who's afraid to hit it. A guy who likes a girl will try to flirt with her or tease her, but nice guys don't think that way. They would rather ask if it's okay to carry her grocery bags or wash her car. That's why they're always friend-zoned. 1. Attention seeker. Nice guys will always crave out your validation. They always want you to like them. They're people pleasers, and as we all know, people pleasing, well, that's for manipulators and liars. They always lie about everything, even to themselves. These guys will always say they're happy to take on a task, but it will not be for the reason they claim to do it. Nice guys will always agree to anything that you throw on the table just as long as they can get people to like them. Most of the time, these people find it hard to say no, even at the cost of their own credibility. They will do everything possible to make you think that they're good. Now here's where it gets crazier. When someone rejects them, nice guys always take it personally. They wonder why you reject their good advances and will try to change their mind on a stance just to get you to like them. Number 2, they can't lead. Nice guys always run away from leadership roles. If they try to lead, then they know that there will be some people who are not going to like them, and they don't want that. Because of this, they prefer to stand in the background and wish they had the opportunity to lead. When handling projects, they try to please everybody and they end up being wishy-washy. They have poor decision-making skills, and they always seem to be influenced by other parties. For them, sitting in the back seat of life is much better than being in the driver's seat. They never really ask out a girl until it's far too late, and then they whine and whine about how unfair the world is. 3. No form of self-respect. When it comes to having respect, a nice guy has little or no regard for his pride as a man. Nobody will respect a guy who will change their mind due to pressure. As a man, you need to have some level of respect for yourself. Without it, you won't have the woman of your dreams, and in a work setting, you won't get the promotion you've always wanted. If you always bend the knee to everybody at the snap of their fingers, some people might use you as a doormat. It will happen, and I have seen it happen too many times to too many people that I care about. Number 4, nice guys are boring. Nice guys who are always willing to do the bidding of others don't live for themselves. They're not spontaneous, and it seems like they live inside of a box. Having your own experiences is what makes life interesting. Women love adventure, and it's one thing that they're after when it comes to relationships. They don't want men who live on a straight path and who are bound by routines. They want men who are flexible and can make sudden decisions to take them someplace new. Being a bad guy doesn't mean you're a jerk. It means you're in control of most of the things that surround you, especially your time. Being spontaneous and slightly unpredictable allows you to be fun. If you're a nice guy who's too busy trying to make people like you, then you're choosing to play life safe. You will miss many opportunities to have fun. The chads that we know of, the ones getting the girls, they offer a huge level of excitement. They offer adventure that these girls crave. Nice guys are not fun to hang out with because they don't like crossing the line. This quality makes them great friends who provide good and sensible advice, but bad boyfriends. Number 5, they stand for everything. All nice guys have the problem of standing up for themselves. Take George McFly in Back to the Future, for example. He was a nice guy, but he was a massive simp. He's gonna let Biff have his way with his future Lorraine until he stopped being a pushover. Chads always love to take their stand, like Jon Snow, who initially refused to bend the knee to Daenerys Targaryen just because she was in line to the throne. He focused on dealing with the Nightwalkers before allying with the Queen, and guess what? The Queen was very attracted to Jon Snow because of this. Number 6, passive communication. Nice guys do not know how to interact with other people, and it always gets worse when it comes to females. Most of these guys would prefer not to speak directly to people to ensure that they don't hurt your feelings. That's the reason why many women run away from nice guys. It's a weak form of communication. Passive speakers are not respected. They're often afraid of what people will think of them. The funny thing is that when people try to solve this issue, they tend to be passive-aggressive. Sadly, that don't work. Talking with authority is very important as a man, but this might be scary to nice guys. 6 rules you should break if you want to stop being a nice guy. Number 1, be sincere with yourself. First of all, you're not a good guy. You're just like all men who want to smash every single attractive woman they see and then move on to the next one. We don't have good guys in the world. We only have men who do a better job at controlling, repressing, and directing their insane sexual urges than other men. On another note, you don't really want to commit to this girl, and you don't want to be nice to her. You're only telling yourself that because you think she's too good for you, so you're sticking to the best you can get. Well, to stop being a nice guy, you should never decide to commit to a girl unless she's proven that she will commit to you. Secondly, stop trying to convince women that you're not interested in sex. Show them that you're self-aware of your sexuality, you know how to control it, and you've got other options. When you present yourself in this way, she can feel comfortable around you and also let herself relax and become attracted to you, which is what women want. Surprise, surprise. Number 2, heal from your low self-esteem. You need to take some time to understand who you are and also get in touch with your rights. Having self-esteem means taking charge of your own life and doing things to improve your mental health. Putting yourself first and choosing to be in a healthy relationship. Even as far as your friendships, your best friend, all that's the best way to heal your low self-esteem, those kinds of relationships. Number 3, prioritize your interests. Putting your needs first is an important step of becoming an alpha male. While it might sound wrong at first, putting yourself first is not a bad thing. You might start by considering the things that are important to you before considering others. The moment you start putting yourself first, the people around you will stop demanding unnecessary favors and instead align their needs with your availability or your willingness to help people. Number 4, only give rewards when they deserve it. Like I said earlier, being nice doesn't end. You don't have to be a jerk. You only do things for her after she's done something to deserve it. This rule should apply to anything that you do for her, complimenting her, texting her, paying her attention, everything in between. She hasn't bought you a drink yet, don't buy her one. If you're texting her long messages and she's responding with short, boring replies, don't text her. She's only entitled to these things if she's done something to deserve it. Number 5, learn to say no. To be attractive, every man needs to pursue a vision, and for this vision to come to reality, he might have to sacrifice a lot, which means creating boundaries. If a man does not set boundaries, anybody can distract him from his mission. When it comes to women, you can only do things that detract from your mission only if she's made up for it by doing things that help for your mission, right? Women always have the urge to test men by asking for more than they deserve because they want to see how strong their boundaries are. And the stronger the boundaries, the more fun his emotional experience will be. So stop being a sissy and focus on what you've always wanted to accomplish in your life. Women are not meant to derail you from your purpose. They are meant to help you. Number 6, stop seeing women as harmless creatures. Due to social conditioning, many nice guys believe that women are somehow weak and need men to do things for them. That's BS. Women are not weak. They can live for themselves and by themselves. They don't need you to buy a drink for them to be a shoulder to cry on. Indeed, we need to agree that women are physically weaker than men. They have emotional needs greater than men, but none of these things mean that you have to go overboard and help them. Only do what you're comfortable with. So, you gotta be a dick? No! I've said that 10 times already, so that's far from it. All you need to do is change your mind about relationships. As a man, you gotta understand that not everyone is gonna like you, and kissing her ass won't change that fact. Human wants are insatiable, and you can never do enough. You don't have to be an asshole. Yet you do have to be okay with people thinking that you are, possibly, an asshole. The moment that you stop trying to please everybody, you'll start pleasing those who matter most to you. Now, please, this doesn't mean you have to be a brute. It's not about strength. You can beat respect into people without touching them. You get more honorable people in your life when you can keep your own words, and that is what attracts respect. Does money, height, and looks play a major role in attraction? Women only care about the things I don't have. That is an excuse given by many Jude guys who feel the reason that they're not getting laid is due to several physical factors and achievements. Learning games can be difficult, and most guys prefer to take the easy route and use the reason listed above to act like a simp. This poisonous mindset will only make them fail even more with women. Sometimes we make the mistake of thinking that women are attracted to the same thing men are. Men are attracted to what they see, but for women, well, yes, but it's so much more complicated. The main thing every woman craves is emotional experiences. It's abstract, far from what men think, and it takes time to develop. Of course, women do care about your height, looks, all that stuff. If you don't have any of the physical traits she desires, she might not pay attention to you. However, it's not really their fault. So let me explain. You see, women have evolved to desire these things in a similar capacity that men have evolved to desire other things in women. These traits subconsciously signify that the man is capable of providing positive emotional experiences for his woman. If you're part of the people who still think that women only care about money, you need to change. Alpha males are complex entities, and although access to resources is one of his characteristics, it's not the only one. I once knew of a rich guy who had everything women supposedly wanted. He was tall, rich, and well-to-do, and pretty good-looking. But he had a major flaw. Not only was he boring, he was shy and sucked at having conversations with women. Even though he had all the money in the world, women still flaked out on him. But why? Well, turns out eating a good meal sounds fun for women, but after she's done, she becomes restless and seeks another form of adventure. Even though I wasn't as rich as this guy, since I could provide a better emotional experience, I usually stole a bunch of ladies away from his parties. How you make a woman feel is much more important than the physical and material resources you have. Knowing yourself as a man. If you're unclear about who you are, you'll depend on others to define your worth. And that's a slippery slope that leads to all sorts of heartaches and pain. Like, there's a lot attached to knowing who you are as a man. This is because, although it's not actually something you do, it's something that guides a lot of what you'll do, and more importantly, how people will treat you. For instance, a man who lacks confidence can't take rejection well. It'll always feel like a blow to his ego. The Greek philosopher Aristotle believed self-awareness is the gateway to wisdom. And if you don't know yourself well, you'll let others put a price tag on you, and trust me, you do not want women putting a price tag on you. That's like one way to guarantee that you'll be miserable for a very long time. Also, a man who isn't self-aware would only see a woman's looks without caring about her personality. Why? Because he doesn't even care about his person enough to be self-aware. So how can he do it to others? Robert Greene pointed out how men can be so taken with beauty that they just admire it from afar. And you know this yourself. That urge to always look back when a girl with some nicer act passes you. At that moment, you really don't know if she's toxic or not. You just want to hit, even if it might destroy you. So, what does being self-aware mean for a man? It means closely observing your actions and pulling your life together. In bad boy terms, it simply means not craving validation from people to feel good about yourself. You see, bad boys don't care what anybody says or thinks, and that's something that pulls girls to them. They consciously or unconsciously believe that they're complete just as they are. Once you build a life that you're proud of, you won't look to women to make you feel manly. You'll know what you bring to the table. And if a woman isn't into you, it simply means that she wasn't the right match. Bad boys are the definition of being confident in your own skin. They don't beg for a woman's interest or her thumbs up. They don't take rejection personally, and that, ironically, is what women find appealing. They're not out there chasing desperation. Also, this "I'm good, so I don't care what you think" mentality enables them to step away from any girl at any moment they feel disrespected. That is something that nice guys just can't do, and it's why they finish last. If you want to command the respect and attention that naturally comes from a self-assured man, you've got to be prepared to take a step back when necessary. Now, listen, stepping back isn't about playing games or being deceptive. It's about looking beneath the surface, seeing who someone truly is, beyond just their looks. Too often, men bust their backs trying to impress a woman who frankly is not worth the energy. They pursue her relentlessly just because she got them looks, even if her personality leaves a lot to be desired. It takes guts to walk away from that, and it sends a clear message. You have standards. If a woman isn't showing you the right level of interest or respect, you owe it to yourself to move on. The beauty of being able to walk away is the change that it brings out in you. Even when you're in a relationship, it empowers you to be upfront with your girl about things that you're not cool with. Now, nice guys typically keep their feelings under wraps to avoid a rock in the boat, worried the girl might leave. And that often leads them to lie, which makes them dishonest and deceptive. But then again, the woman will often pick up on this and often push their boundaries even further. You see, I used to be guilty of this, and it really leaves a bad taste in my mouth just thinking about it. It's like You end up doing bad things like lying while trying to be nice, and still you end up losing her. So yes, when it comes to dealing with women, you need to learn some things from bad boys. Things like don't let a woman's opinion carry too much weight. A lot of dudes exhaust themselves trying to win the approval of every pretty face that they encounter. They obsess over saying the right things and showering her with compliments. But this eagerness to please often backfires, making you look desperate instead. At the root of this is the fact that they don't know who they are. A man who knows himself understands that he doesn't need to perform to be someone not just to impress a stranger. Be true to yourself and focus on what matters to you. It shows that you value yourself and that you're not going to waste your time trying to charm every beautiful woman in sight. Trying to impress every pretty girl can be so exhausting and it can come off as silly. If you stay cool and unbothered in the presence of beauty, that is what truly catches attention. So what do you need to stay cool and unbothered when a hot girl shows up? Confidence. Confidence is a game changer. It's why a man acts without the need for approval. And sure, sometimes you'll make a mistake, but you'll have the grace to apologize after. Now, does knowing yourself help you be more confident? Yeah. Another thing that comes from knowing yourself is knowing your passion. You see, people light up when they share their passions. You can see the excitement in their eyes, the energy in their voices, the lively gestures. That kind of genuine excitement is irresistible to women. A man's charm increases tenfold when he's enthusiastic about something he genuinely loves. Now, when a man is confident in himself and his passions, he'll likely become very good at it, thereby making him a man of high status. And do women like men of high status? You bet your bottom dollar they do. You and I know this from experience, and what's more, scientific research has also shown that women are often attracted to men with status and resources. Now, looking at it through the lens of evolutionary psychology, a high-status man could mean a brighter future for her and her offspring. So yes, women are right to want that. So basically, you need to know yourself to see both the good man and the bad boy that you are. That way, you'll respect yourself more, and women will do the same. Master the push and pull. When you find yourself drawn to a woman, it is essential to strike a fine balance. Sure, you want to let her know that you're interested, but you also want to keep the chase exciting. It's that hint of uncertainty that adds a thrilling edge to the whole thing. But how do you do that? Through what can be called the push and pull dynamic. This basically means mixing clear signs of attraction with a playful sense of challenge. For example, make eye contact, glance at her lips, and teasingly say, "I'd love to kiss you right now, but I don't want to draw too much attention." Or playfully suggest, "How about heading to my place? But we have to be proper. You have to promise to keep your hands above my waist." You see, it's all about creating a delicate dance between obvious interest and playful restraint. Maybe you want to take things further, like holding hands or cuddling together. You can try this. Move in for a moment, then take a small step back. And when you're ready, close in again. This 2 steps forward, 1 step back approach keeps things from escalating too quickly. The push and pull is a mind trick that creates a rhythmic dance of showing keen interest and then subtly retreating. It's a blend of warm, engaging conversation followed by a cool, distancing silence. Let's break it down further because that's something that works wonders, but you have to be very careful when using it. Now, the pull aspect bathes the girl in warmth and closeness, making her feel valued and special. On the flip side, the push introduces a dash of doubt and challenge, often driving the person to close a distance and reconnect. It's this interplay of emotions that turns the interaction into a thrilling, unpredictable ride. That's where you want her to be because that's where the magic happens. That's how she gets obsessed. Now, I should say the strategy should never be about deception or playing games. It should be about interjecting a spark of unpredictability and fun into the relationship. Like the push should never be too severe. After all, it's just about showing self-sufficiency and not being constantly available. The pull should be more heartfelt, a true reflection of interest and warmth. As I said earlier, striking the perfect balance is crucial if not everything falls apart. As an example, let's talk about giving compliments. Women love it, but you've got to be careful not to abuse it. Bad boys rarely give compliments, but the women don't mind. Why? Because people, especially women, are programmed to want what they can't have or get. Generally, diamonds don't have as many use cases as coal, but we all know which one holds more value, even though they're both made out of carbon. So, the women don't mind that their bad boy boyfriend doesn't give compliments often, but here's the thing. Whenever he does, they go over the moon. It's like finding a diamond. They just can't believe that they did it. Now here's the good part of it. Whenever a bad boy gives compliments, you know that it's 100% genuine, and that is what makes it even more special. Psychologically, this plays in the principle of scarcity and the value of reward. When compliments are less frequent, they become more treasured and impactful. If you use the push and pull method through compliments, you can create a scenario where the woman craves more validation from you. That'll heighten her interest and investment in the relationship. Again, the goal is not to breed feelings of worthlessness or insecurity. It is to prevent praises from becoming so common that they lose their value. When you do offer a compliment, make sure it's sincere and specific, because that will increase its value. Now, there are a lot of cases and situations that you can apply the push and pull to. If you're in a public space and you think showboating is the answer, you're wrong. It's common for guys to try and outshine the rest to win a girl's full attention. However, if you want to keep her on you and her thoughts on you constantly, knowing when to pull back and when to step forward is crucial. At the basic level, you want to match the pace of your communication to the nature of your connection. If you guys are just starting, it is terrible to flood her DMs with your messages. Worse still, don't fill her inbox with back-to-back messages without getting any responses. If you're not in a daily texting rhythm, do not force it. And don't hurry into planning a first date until you've shared a genuine, significant conversation. Building a bond where she truly is into you takes patience and a subtle display of your strengths. Again, the push and pull. You want to tell her something interesting about yourself today, but not all of it. That way, there's a little bit of anticipation for tomorrow night. Now, here's something to think about. Dr. Nicole Prowse, a specialist of the sensory responses of the brain, once described what we often call the romantic tension sensation. According to her, it's a state of mind in which we're preparing for potential intimacy. That means your body taps into this excitement, harnessing that romantic tension as a motivator to progress further. So, when the brain gets a hint that intimacy might be in the offering, well, it releases dopamine, which leads to happy anticipation. See what I mean? The push and the pull. You want to give, but not too much. Just enough to put her in that state of happy anticipation. So you can spark thoughts of intimacy in her mind during a conversation with questions like, "You ever had a wild experience somewhere a bit unexpected?" You could also tell a story that touches on an intimate moment, like, "Once on a late-night drive, my girlfriend started to get a little adventurous with my pant zipper." Don't talk about your previous girlfriends on a first date, though. I think that's pretty obvious. Or the whole, pant zipper thing, unless it's been clearly established that there is chemistry. Be careful, boys. That is more than enough to subtly plant the idea of intimacy with you in her mind for the future. But before you go too deep into the conversation, you can end it nicely by maybe receiving an urgent call or leaving to make an order or whatever. But once you start it and she gets interested, you shouldn't cover the whole topic that night. Save some for later. Be mysterious. A touch of mystery goes such a long way in drawing women in and keeping them obsessed. To craft this mysterious vibe, resist the temptation to bare your entire soul straight away. Embracing being a bit elusive and keeping them guessing is great. It sparks their curiosity. Psychologically, we're all magnetized by the unknown. So when someone doesn't lay out their entire emotional landscape and life story from the get-go, they transform into a thrilling riddle. And trust me, women love to solve human riddles. Maybe it has to do with their maternal instinct. I don't know, but they can't help it from my experience. You see, bad boys are mysterious, and for obvious reasons. They don't follow social conventions, and by taking such a different path in life, who knows where that might lead. This makes them so adventurous, and who wouldn't want to go on an adventure? Most people like adventures of some variety. Also, the bad boy character enchants girls because it implies danger and possible survival against the odds. Now, just think how intriguing that is. Heck, even we men like to read about bad boys in novels and so on. It's the mystery. Will we die, or will we survive against all odds? It's that classic Bonnie and Clyde story. And yes, women really like that story. You see, incorporating a sense of this mystery into your presence isn't about dishonesty or unnecessary secrecy. It's more about skillfully pacing the reveal of your life stories and qualities. Let her uncover the multiple facets of your persona one at a time, each one leading her to want more. But hold on a minute, your life is probably boring, so how can you make it sound mysterious without lying? Well, the question you should be asking is, why that life be boring? What could you be doing differently? Are you the cause? Life can't be boring when you're taking on challenges that come your way. So, is it that challenges don't come your way, or you're not taking them on, or you're hiding from them? Well, I think we both know the answer to that. What you need is to build yourself up so that you can become confident in your ability to face life's challenges. The ability to stand up for yourself when a situation calls for it, and it surely will. There's no doubt that while you're chasing your dreams, you will face many troubles. Well, once you're facing troubles on the way to your dreams, you're on an adventure, and then your life cannot be boring. Now, women like the mysterious adventure that we've been talking about, but they often can't go on that adventure on their own. Hence, they want a man, a bad boy who's also down for the adventure. Now, such a man provides not only the adventure, but he's also a bit of a protector. Financially, physically, and so on, depending on the situation. Obviously, it's 2024, not quite the same. But if you just think about that long enough, you'll understand why some girls can barely live when they're broken up with their men. It's the end of a great adventure and the beginning of a less interesting adventure. Plus, they're without protection. And some of them care about that. You should understand that being mysterious does not mean that you should complicate your life. I'm not asking you to study as an astrophysicist at MIT and then become like a Viking sailing the seas. No! Of course, toxic women don't mind something like that, but they shouldn't be your target in the first place. What I'm saying is, you need to have something about you that makes her feel like she doesn't know you that well. A new hobby, a guilty pleasure, a secret talent, whatever. Now, the focus shouldn't be on finding or learning something that will excite her. It should be learning and doing something that excites you. The right woman will find it exciting. Never shape yourself for the interest of others. Shape yourself for you. Finally, another thing that adds a bit of mystery to a man is a little concept called pre-selection. This concept implies that a woman might find you more appealing if she sees you with another woman. Indeed, the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology noted that women deemed men more attractive if they were already in a relationship rather than being single. Being in the company of women can suggest that you possess desirable traits, making you a pre-selected catch. Then she wants to know what's so special about you. Plus, snatching you from the other girl becomes her battle. Another little adventure. But what do you do when you can't get girls to flock around you? Well, you can frequent bars with your female friends, and if your social circle is light on female friends, well then you need to practice forming friendships with girls. Probably the most legitimate advice I'll ever give on this channel. That's just a little self-deprecation. But that's about it, guys. If this isn't top-tier education, I really don't know what is. Drop a like and comment your thoughts. Click down on the next video to learn more about females.